You're watching KPTS, Channel 8.
Production and broadcast costs for Sedgwick County Commission meetings have been underwritten by Sedgwick County. KPTS welcomes comments from the public on its broadcast of the County Commission hearings. Viewers are invited to write to County Commission Broadcast, KPTS, 320 West 21st Street, Wichita, Kansas, 67203.
Good morning. I'm Christy Zukovich. Welcome to the September 23rd Sedgwick County Commission meeting. We are glad you're joining us today. We use this time to let you know about activities going on around Sedgwick County. And first off, to let you know at Intrust Bank Arena, they do have a full event schedule. And we've talked about a couple of those concerts that are in the next couple of days. So I thought we'd jump ahead a little bit and let you know that the first Thunder hockey game is coming October 17th. So we get the hockey back in action there. And then we also have basketball coming with Wichita State on December 12th and K-State on December 19th. And I believe the tickets go on sale Saturday for the WSU games. So be a mad rush downtown on Saturday morning to get tickets and probably sell out like they have the last couple of years. But always a good, fun environment to have college basketball down at the Intrust Bank Arena. Also to let you know, coming up at the zoo, it's a fun event for families, the Night of the Living Zoo, and that is October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And if you have tropical plants that you keep on your patio that you don't have room to bring inside, they have a plant donation on October 17th at the zoo, and you can bring your plants to the zoo and they will take care of them and put them out around the zoo area as well. So keep all those dates in mind. Commissioners, we have a pretty short agenda this morning. We have 3 proclamations, one for Manufacturing Day, Mental Illness Awareness Week, and Fire Prevention Week. We have a couple of appointments. I know you all have some other business to take care of, and I have no quiz. I have no questions or tricks, but I did bring you some treats today because it is the first day of fall, and nothing says fall like candy corn. And it has nothing to say about how sweet you are or aren't, but it might just give you that boost of sugar, and we'll see if you take a couple of those this meeting and really pop along fast. So, Commissioners, with that, Chairman Ranzo, I bet you can get the meeting underway.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christy. With that, we'll call to order the regular meeting Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners for September 23rd, 2015. Madam Clerk, first item.
Invocation to be led by Father Lanzarath of the Catholic Diocese of Wichita. Please remain standing for the flag salutes.
Heavenly Father, this morning in the Oval Office of our nation's capital, President Obama met with Pope Francis, two world leaders meeting together to listen to one another and to seek wisdom. We pledge allegiance that we may be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May these words not just be words spoken in a pledge, but actions lived in our lives. Bless the members of this county commission. Bless the staff members who work here. Bless all of the citizens of Sedgwick County whom they serve. Grant, O Lord, the gift of wisdom and knowledge to these commissioners. From the book of Sirach we read, "He who keeps the law controls his impulses. He who is perfect in fear of the Lord has wisdom. A wise man's knowledge wells up in a flood, and his counsel like a living spring. A fool's mind is like a broken jar. No knowledge at all can it hold. When an intelligent man hears words of wisdom, he approves to them and adds to them. The views of a prudent man are sought in an assembly, and his words are considered with care. May each of us seek to end divisions among us, so that we are indivisible, that we become one. May we seek justice for all the citizens of this county, this state, this nation, this world. May all people embrace the gift of liberty, and may we never forget that none of this is possible if we do not place ourselves under one God, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, hear and answer this prayer according to your divine will. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father, for being here today. Next item, please.
Roll call. Commissioner Unruh.
Present.
Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Howell.
Present.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Present.
Chairman Ransall.
Present. Next item, please.
Consideration of minutes. Item A, regular meeting minutes of August 12th, 2015. All commissioners were present.
Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
I move we approve the minutes of August 12th, 2015.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransall.
Aye. Next item, please.
Proclamations. Item B, proclamation declaring Manufacturing Day.
Commissioners, I have the following proclamation to read into the record. Whereas manufacturing supports more than 12.1 million jobs in the United States and more than 45,000 jobs in Sedgwick County, and whereas the average annual wage for Sedgwick County manufacturing employees exceeds $67,000, and whereas an array of manufacturing employers ranging from aviation and agricultural equipment to petroleum and textile products operate in Sedgwick County, and whereas Wichita is the air capital of the world and aviation manufacturing accounts for more than 60% of the manufacturing jobs in Sedgwick County, and whereas more than 20% of jobs in Sedgwick County are in manufacturing, which is nearly twice the rate of the national average, and whereas the region is home to high-quality education and training institutions such as the Wichita Area Technical College and the National Center for Aviation Training, which prepare the future workforce with skills to utilize cutting-edge technology in order to fill high-demand manufacturing jobs, and whereas Manufacturing Day highlights the importance of manufacturing in our nation's economy and to the many rewarding and innovative manufacturing jobs available, Now therefore be it resolved that I, Richard Ranzau, Chairman of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 2nd, 2015 as Manufacturing Day in Sedgwick County and urge all citizens to join in recognizing the value of our citizens employed in manufacturing and the importance they serve in our community. Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt the proclamation.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ranzau.
Aye. I was told Dr. Tomlin is going
Who wants to come?
to be here, but, oh, there he is.
Does anybody else come?
I guess not.
All right. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for this proclamation because it is really what Wichita is about. I mean, I think with one of these proclamations, it's useful to see, how we got where we are and where we're going. So, I mean, if you think about what Wichita is, I mean, where else in the world is the air capital of the world? I mean, if you think about what we do, we make machines that defy gravity, that go near the speed of sound, that is export all over the world. Pretty special manufacturing that I mean, we hold the top slot in my opinion. But then holding the top slot also means that we got to protect the top slot. If you're the prize fighter, somebody's always trying to knock you off, right? They want to fight with you. So this is one of the things that, I mean, you recognizing that we are special in manufacturing and that we have not lost sight of the ball is very special. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for the support. I mean, I know Commissioner Unruh's heard me say this. I'm going to repeat it again. It's kind of my analogy is a football game. Is that we too often play defense, where we're trying to protect what we got, and instead of playing offense too. The best. If you only play defense, the best score you can get in a game is what? 0-0. So I think what you've really done with NCAT, with your support of the Innovation Campus, really turns it on an offensive game. So, I mean, I just want to say thank you from the people I represent and the industry that I represent. Thank you for seeing that, and thank you for your support.
I think Commissioner Unruh has comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, Dr. Tomlin, I want to say in the best possible way that you're one of the most offensive guys I know. And I want you to keep being that way. We do need to be on offense, but I want to just recognize your efforts through NIAR and your presence out at NCAT, Wichita State University, and WATC, along with our chamber and GWDC and Workforce Alliance and RE. We have a lot of community partners who are all working together to try to support our community in general and manufacturing and our strength in that area in particular. So we're pleased to make this proclamation and indicate our support of this particular sector of our economy. And although the front page of the paper today had an article that indicates we've got some big challenges and some work to do, I believe that we're at it, and we will prevail and we will succeed because we've got these good partners working together. So glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Innovation Campus, I had to get a plug in because I know it's important not only in your role, Dr. Tomlin, but it's certainly important from Sedgwick County's end and our side. I wanted to take this opportunity to also, you had some other folks you brought here, and I didn't know if you wanted to give an opportunity to introduce a few of them who are here for this proclamation, and you have a little public recognition for them too.
Absolutely. Why don't you just introduce yourself, please.
Sean Waver with AGH, representing Wichita Manufacturers Association.
Amanda Duncan with the Workforce Alliance. Ellen Schaffler, I'm the chair of the Regional Manufacturing Council on Technical Education. I'm Kathy Jewett, I'm the HR manager for XLT Evans and also the chair of the Workforce Alliance Board.
I'm Gary Plummer with Wichita Chamber. And on the back row is Gary Weininger. I'm with Wichita Manufacturing Association and I work at Great Plains Industries in Wichita.
Thank you all for coming out, and I very much appreciate your presence here today, and delighted to be able to help with this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item C, proclamation declaring Mental Illness Awareness Week.
Commissioners, I have the following proclamation to read into the record. Whereas each year hundreds of Sedgwick County residents face the reality of living with a mental illness, every year during the first full week of October, participating organizations bring awareness of mental illness to our community, and whereas mental illness affects 1 out of every 5 people and touches every age, race, religion, and income, mental illnesses are more common than cancer, diabetes, or heart disease. More than 2/3 of Sedgwick County residents who have a mental illness live in our community and lead productive lives, and whereas mental illnesses are not the result of personal weakness or lack of character, mental illnesses are treatable. Most people diagnosed with mental illness can experience relief by seeking treatment, and whereas NAMI, Newman University, ComCare, the Veterans Hospital, the Mental Health Association, Breakthrough Club, Via Christi, and many other Sedgwick County community organizations continue to provide treatment, support, education, and advocacy to help improve the lives of individuals affected by mental illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Richard Ranzau, Chairman of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 4th through 10th, 2015, as Mental Illness Awareness Week. Sedgwick County is dedicated to increasing public awareness in our community and ask that you reach out to someone who needs help. No one should have to confront mental illness alone. Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we adopt the proclamation.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ranzau.
Aye. We have Marilyn Cook to receive the proclamation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marilyn Cook with ComCare. There is no disputing that good mental health is a critical part of our overall well-being. Last week, I attended our association's annual conference. It was held here in Wichita this year, and got the privilege to hear Kevin Hines, who was the keynote speaker that first morning of the conference, and I thought what I would do was to share the highlights of his very unforgettable story with you and the public who are listening. Kevin, who is now in his 30s, was adopted by 2 loving parents, and despite being loving and living in a loving and supportive family, he felt depressed and suicidal for much of his childhood. These feelings started for him as a child and then became more and more pronounced as an adolescent, yet he never told his friends, he never told his family about how much emotional pain that he was in, and instead he suffered silently. He had what he called spells as a child where he felt so low in the mornings that he couldn't get out of bed and go to school, and his family thought he was experiencing some kind of unnamed physical condition. He had and has very high intellect, and after all of those spells, he would scurry back to school, make up the homework that was past due, and overproduce in all aspects of his life until he was caught up with whatever he missed during his downtime. However, he did get to the point where the depression was so profound that he began to feel that he was a tremendous burden to his family and everyone around him. And late in high school, he started hearing voices that told him how worthless that he was. The torment was so strong that he decided the only way out was to end his life. So at age 19, he Googled the word suicide, and instead of finding a list of local resources that would be able to help him, the first site he opened was one that described various ways to complete a suicide. Kevin lived in San Francisco, and in the article he Googled on suicide, he learned that jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge was a quick and very effective way to end his life. He read it, and he believed it, and believed that he would be dead by the time that he hit the water that was some 25 stories below him. So one morning, Kevin took a bus to the Golden Gate Bridge. He was tearful the entire way. He selected a spot on that bridge that wouldn't be too close to a pillar, wouldn't be too close to land, and he was still ambivalent about whether or not he wanted to go through the jump. And this ambivalence is very typical for people who are feeling suicidal. And he convinced himself that if even one person smiled at him or asked him what was wrong, that would be the sign that he should not go through with it. So he stood on that spot for 40 long minutes. And finally, a woman tourist came up to him and, despite the tear-streaked face, asked him if he would take her picture. And he did take her picture. He took several pictures of her, and she went on her way. He says he experienced that as the last straw, and he took a running jump off the bridge and instantly realized that he had made a mistake. He fell 25 stories, feet first, plunged about 40 feet deep into the water. In the process, he broke both of his legs and his back, and those injuries made it almost impossible for him to get to the surface. But he was shocked that he lived and amazed that he was still alive, although the pain he was experiencing really confirmed that he was very much still alive. Kevin said he survived that jump due to a series of miracles, and he was hospitalized, obviously, shortly thereafter for his physical injuries, and then over the next couple of years, psychiatrically hospitalized. Eventually, he was diagnosed with a bipolar condition, and that diagnosis helped explain his ability to recover from the spells that he had as a child, and his ability to be energized enough to compensate for them later. He now makes it his life work to tell his story and to articulate the desperation that he felt that way in an attempt to help others. I want you to know that every day, ComCare staff listen to stories like Kevin's, told to them by people wanting to lessen their emotional pain and to remain productive members of our communities despite the impact that the mental illness or addiction has on their lives. We have one such individual here with us this morning who has graciously offered to share his story and his journey through treatment. Ron has been involved in ComCare's Center City services. He's been affected by homelessness, alcohol abuse, and mental illness. So I would like to introduce you to Ronald. He has put a great deal of effort into his personal recovery, and much like Kevin Hines, continues in his recovery by sharing his experiences with others. So, Ron, I'm going to ask you to come up. Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen. I don't know where to start. I can tell you right out the gate that I've been an alcoholic for 40 years, and mental illness to me was a sign of weakness, okay? I chose not to take that round of accepting that I had mental illness. Excuse me. But a couple of years ago, I had a couple of dramatic things happen in my life that caused me to just give up. I didn't want to live no more. I didn't want to. I'm just tired. I'm just tired, you know? So that took me down the road of homelessness, of the word hope it just wasn't there, you know? And I caught myself attempting suicide a few times, and I wound up at Good Shepherd a few times, quite a few as a matter of fact, and I just didn't want to live. I'm just tired. I had a really rough childhood, and my structure in life was work hard, work. I wasn't supposed to have feelings or emotions or hurt. You know, I come from a military background of my parents. They were very strict. You know, don't cry, Ron. None of that stuff. I had to be strong. Well, that backfired, obviously. But what I'm grateful for with the ComCare is I'm on the streets homeless. The only thing I look forward to is a liquor store opening up. I just didn't want to. That's it. That's all I wanted, and hustle up some money. And like I told you, hope wasn't there. But one of my visits at Good Shepherd turned out pretty good. I had a lady come up from ComCare, Marcella was her name, and she sat down with me. She said, "Ron, there is hope. There is. I see something in you that I don't see in a lot of people." She says, "You're deep. You're a deep person. You come from within. There is hope, Ron. Come with us. Let us help you." And they did. And Kevin and Aaron and a few other caseworkers. It was a tough battle at first. Don't get me wrong, but finally it clicked that, you know, I've got to do something. I do have a mental illness. You know, I can't be trying to kill myself and drinking vodka and just drowning all that. I am a strong person. I am good people. You know. And now I'm getting ready to graduate here this month from ComCare. It's been a couple of years. I've got a lot of sobriety built up. I even learned how to tie a tie today. You know, I'm doing good, and I look in the mirror now, and man, I feel good. I feel strong. I'm reuniting with my kids again since their mother passed away, and I'm trying to get back that life back to me. You know, and I am just so grateful. And everywhere I go, I share this with people that I see. You know, I'm happy to be alive. Hallelujah. But if you'd known me 2 years ago, you'd be kicking me on the street. I'm that guy that was on the sidewalk with the blown out blue jeans and a half a gallon panhandling guy. You know, that I didn't care. I just didn't. But it was ComCare that stepped in, and it was I'm going to tell you, it was tough at first, but they worked through me, with me. And every time I failed, they picked me back up. And every time I had doubt, they gave me hope. And everywhere I go, like I said, I tell everybody, if it wasn't for ComCare, I would not be here today. And I'm grateful to be here, and I hope others will do what I did and just don't give up. Just dig deep. There's something there. But mental illness is something that needs to be made aware of, because a lot of people are like me. They look at it as a weakness. I ain't got mental weakness, or I ain't got mental illness. Yes, you do. You've got to get the right medication, the right therapist, the right doctors. And a lot of these guys, they need guidance. And that's where ComCare comes in. They guide you through those steps of getting back to where you should be. And for that, I'm grateful. And thank you for listening, and I hope something works out great for everybody. I really do. If they have any questions, go ahead.
Thank you for being here. Commissioner Howell does have some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ronald, I want to commend you for your bravery to come before us and tell your story. It's very inspiring, and I really appreciate you taking the time and the effort to do that today. It means a lot. You mentioned a couple things I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about that. And you mentioned you were an alcoholic for 40 years. And have you been able to overcome that?
So far, I went 2 options. I did their 2-month program, graduated. I fell one time a year and a half ago or so, and they picked me back up. And it was only a 1 instant thing, and I've been sober ever since. I've got working on 10 months now. And I don't want to drink. I just don't want to drink. I don't know what else to say, but I've got the desire not to drink. Before, I had the desire because, well, these treatment places gave me a place to stay for a month or 2. Now I did it for me, you know, and I don't want to drink no more.
That is fantastic. It's a great story, great success.
I hate to interrupt again, but I see where I've been the last year and a half. I've seen so much alcohol and drugs out here in the streets. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. And I feel so good that I can just say no, I don't care for it. And to know me a couple years ago, I'd be right in the mix. So if it wasn't for ComCare and a few others, oh man, I couldn't have done it. I was too weak. But they made me strong again. They gave me what I needed. They believed in me. And that's probably the most important thing of it all. Because a lot of people out there are down. They don't have family support or support system to pick them up. And that's where ComCare comes in. And for what that's worth, I hope you guys, I really don't even know why I'm here other than give my statement. I don't know what the proclamation, whatever all that means, but I just wanted to share my story, and that's it.
Let me ask you one more question, if you don't mind. You mentioned a lot of great things about ComCare, and I completely believe, and I think that's a fantastic testimony of what they provide. But I'm curious, were there any faith-based organizations or religious organizations that also helped you to get through some of these trials?
Well, the faith part comes in. To me, faith is it's an individual decision. Okay, I believe in God, but I believe in God my way. I want to talk to God right now, right here. I don't think going to church and all that, people coming in and everybody gathering in one certain spot. I talk to Him regularly, but it's one-on-one. I don't condone it, but it's definitely, there is a higher power. It definitely, I wouldn't be here. I should have died many times. I think I had a heart attack one time. I'm going to have to check on this story, but they told me I flatlined, and that was barely 2 years ago. And ever since then, it's just I've had a whole new outlook on life. You know, I drank too much vodka, and, you know, but faith is always good. But it's on the individual, what they believe in, who they believe in, what the religion is. Mine is just one-on-one. So.
Well, I'll wrap this up then. I just wanted to say that there is hope, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are hurting, and they feel despondent, and they feel like there's no way out. They feel like they've hit the bottom, but there is hope through ComCare and through I think the faith-based organizations are part of that solution as well, and I appreciate you sharing your testimony this morning.
But,
Thank you.
know, they got to take that first step. But if I could say anything at all, I want people out there that are hurting to take that first step, and that's all it takes. And ComCare will do the rest. They will just pick you up. They'll love you like you're their family. So, other than that, I'm going to get off here. I don't want to talk too much.
Commissioner Unruh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I just wanted to add a comment and express appreciation to Ron for the courage you showed in coming here and exposing yourself to a lot of folks you don't even know. But that's probably part of the personal effort and energy that Marilyn referenced that it takes as you continue to work with this affliction and keep yourself healthy. And so thank you for being here, and I really am grateful for the work of ComCare and from the other agencies that work to help folks who have to carry this particular burden. And one of the things from today's presentation that we need to emphasize, it so often it just takes a kind word or a smile or just a little bit of encouragement, and we can have a significant difference in someone else's life. And those of us who seem to have things going in the right direction often forget that others in our community are carrying a heavy burden, and we can be helpful with just a smile and a kind word. So thanks for being here. That's all I have.
And Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Oh, Ron, I want to second my colleagues' comments, but also point out that the opportunities I've had talking with folks, and whether it's with drug court or in other places where people have been struggling and fighting, I want to thank Ron in particular, because one of the #1 fears for people, I've been told, is getting up in public and speaking.
That's right.
And I want to thank him for being willing to share, because he's kind of the tip of an iceberg out there. And I hope if there are folks out who are hearing or seeing this meeting, and if they're struggling too, there are resources out there. And Marilyn, if you've got a couple phone numbers, it might be good to get those. I know we've put them on the record before, but it wouldn't hurt to do it one more time this morning.
Probably the most important phone number is our same-day access through our crisis program and intake, and that's 660-7500. I would like to add one thing, if I could please. Every year, our local chapter of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, sponsors a candlelight ceremony, and they bring a speaker in. Lynn is here, if you would just stand a second, who is part of our local NAMI chapter. She also has served on our Community Suicide Prevention Coalition. It has been working on this. This year, the speaker is John Schuchart, who's author of a new book. I love the title. It's called You're Not the Brightest of My Four Sons and Other Depressing Things That Have Been Said to Me. So he's going to talk and present in a kind of humorous way his story that is also apparently very inspirational. That is always held on a Sunday, and it will be Sunday, October the 4th at Kansas University. There's a reception and exhibits from 6 to 6:45, but then the program itself will start at 6:45 and go till 8:30. And I would really encourage people to attend. It really is a wonderful evening of learning, and it's very inspirational. Thank you for your support. Oh, yeah, Newman University, sorry. I know it is Kansas.
It's going to be a long drive.
Yeah, it would be. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, Marilyn, for being here today. Next item, please.
Item D, proclamation declaring Fire Prevention Week.
Commissioners, I have the following proclamation to read into the record. Whereas Sedgwick County is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community, and whereas fires, especially home fires, are a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, as they kill over 2,400 people in the United States in 2014, according to the U.S. Fire Administration, and whereas 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fires in homes without working smoke alarms, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in home fires in half, and whereas Sedgwick County residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire, and whereas Sedgwick County first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fire injuries through prevention and protection education, and whereas the 2015 Fire Prevention Week theme hear the beep where you sleep. Every bedroom needs a working smoke alarm. Effectively serves to remind us that we need working smoke alarms to give us the time to get out safely. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Ranzol, Chairman of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 4th through 10th, 2015 as Fire Prevention Week, and I urge Sedgwick County residents to install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each sleeping area, and on every level of the home, including the basement, and to support public safety activities and efforts of Sedgwick County's fire and emergency services during Fire Prevention Week of 2015. Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion we would adopt this proclamation.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransall.
Aye. And we have Ron Hinkle here today to accept the proclamation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Hinkle, Deputy Fire Marshal, Sedgwick County Fire District Number 1. I'd like to thank you for proclaiming next week, Fire Prevention Week. It's always an important time of the year for the Fire District. We're very busy during that time of year. We start off on October 3rd, actually the day before Fire Prevention Week starts, with an open house at Station 35 out in Goddard from 1 to 4. Would encourage you to stop by if you get a chance. Then on Tuesday, October 6th, we have our annual 5th grade fire prevention adventure at the Sedgwick County Zoo. I've seen a few of you out there in the years past. Last year we had just over 3,000 students in attendance from the area. They get to come out and interact with first responders from the area and get to see some of our equipment and try different things. And then after at the end of Fire Prevention Week on October 10th, we're hosting a open house at Station 37 in Bel Air. And then on October 17th, we also have an open house at Station 34 located in Hayesville. So as you can see, Fire Prevention Week, it kind of extends for us into the whole month. We encourage you to stop by and see what it's all about. We encourage all the citizens to come by and meet the firefighters that work in their communities, as well as see the equipment that's there to respond.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here today and for everything that you do in your efforts to protect our community. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Appointments. Item E, resolution appointing John Ryan to the Sedgwick County Mental Health Advisory Board.
Mr. Chairman, Eric Yost, County Councilor. Item E is a resolution appointing Sergeant John Ryan to the Sedgwick County Mental Health Advisory Board. He is Commissioner PETERJOHN'S appointment to replace Mr. Oblinger, whose term expired in August of this year. And the paperwork does appear to be in order.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
I'm going to make the nomination of Mr. John, Sergeant John Ryan to the Mental Health Advisory Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransall.
Aye. Mr. Ryan's not here today. Okay, next item, please.
Item F, resolution renominating Rich KERSCHEN for the appointment to the Wichita Airport Advisory Board.
Mr. Chairman, Eric Yost, County Councilor. This resolution is renominating Mr. KERSCHEN to the Wichita Airport Advisory Board. He is Commissioner PETERJOHN'S appointment. It's a reappointment, and of course, we're not appointing him. We're nominating him. The Wichita City Council makes that actual appointment, but we're recommending that. And the paperwork does appear to be in order.
Okay. Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the County Councilor's remarks because this is a nomination and not an actual appointment, unlike the previous item in front of us. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. KERSCHEN for his service on this board and his willingness to continue to serve in that capacity. I've had the opportunity to fly in and out of the new terminal out at the airport, and that's been a major project that I think is very well recognized here in the community. And I know Mr. KERSCHEN has worked very hard in terms of helping us get to the point where we are today and having gotten basically to the finish line on this project. So I'm delighted to be able to renominate him for this appointment.
I will second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterjohn.
Aye.
Chairman Ransah.
Aye. Next item, please.
New business, item G, setting of hearing date for post-annexation hearing of Wichita.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Parnicott, Assistant County Counselor. We'll get your map up on the screen. We have now finally moved into the 3-year post-annexation review periods. Before, under the state statute, there was a 5-year review period, but the laws changed in 2012, and we began tracking annexations from 2012 forward that will be subject to a 3-year hearing. This is a City of Wichita annexation that was effective on October 26, 2012. There's a couple commercial properties at the southern end of the annexation area. I'll point them out in a minute with my cursor. KGE owns one of them, and the Sedgwick County Electric Co-op owns the other. The other 5 parcels that were annexed as part of this annexation are along the east edge of 135th Street West on the somewhat mid-block between 13th and 21st. So this is generally in the area of 135th Street West and 13th to 21st Street North. The annexation number is 49387, so you can see it highlighted there, and then down to the south, these are the 2 commercial properties that I mentioned on the southeast corner. We have a standard Wichita service plan, which is to say that it is substantially compliant with the Annexation Act. It does provide pretty much everything that's required by the Annexation Act for a service plan. They did indicate they would provide upon annexation the fairly ordinary services of street maintenance, ditch and culvert cleaning, providing water mains, fire and police protection, parks, code enforcement, those kinds of things. More specifically, they indicated in 2013 they would put in street lights between 13th Street and 21st Street North on 135th Street West, along with a street improvement project that was planned for that right-of-way. We sent out our pre-hearing questionnaires to ask landowners if they had received services. We received one response back that noted they hadn't seen any street lights put in. We've contacted the city. The city has indicated that that is in progress and should be completed in about 8 weeks. We didn't get any other complaints about issues regarding services being provided by the city, so we believe all the services are being provided, but we have not yet received a full report from the city on the services that they indicated they've provided. But other than that, the streetlights is the only issue that's being raised. We had originally proposed, and the recommended action is to set a hearing date for November the 4th, which would be the first BOCC meeting following the effective date, the 3-year anniversary of the effective date of the annexation. Given the fact they're installing some streetlights and they need a little extra time, perhaps, I'm going to make an alternative recommendation that you set the hearing date for the second Wednesday in December, December the 9th. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Commissioner Peterjohn.
Not so much a question as a comment, because I'm very familiar with this area. It's in the 3rd County Commission District, and it's an interesting area in the sense that it's one of the few parts of the city where you can actually enter the city from the west and end up going back into the county before you go back into the city. But I do want to say that and emphasize that the city has spent a good deal of money improving and widening 135th Street between 13th and 21st Street, as well as addressing a significant stormwater problem that had been in place back in 2009 that was a concern, and so I'm going to be willing to make the motion that we approve the notice of hearing, and with the modification that Mr. Parnicott recommended for the date of December 9th, Mr. Chairman.
I have a second.
We have a motion and a second. See no other comments? Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterjohn.
Aye.
Chairman Ransah.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item.
Item H, report of the Board of Bids and Contracts regular meeting on September 17th, 2015.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Joe Thomas, Purchasing Director. The meeting of the Board of Bids and Contracts of September 17th results in 4 items that we're presenting to you this morning. The first item is Bridge Improvements, Project B462 for Public Works. The recommendation is to reject both submitted bids in this case. Item number 2 is another Bridge Improvement Project B486 for Public Works. This recommendation is also to reject the submitted bid. Item number 3 is rock salt for Public Works, and the recommendation is to accept the low bid from Hutchison Salt Company, Incorporated, and establish contract pricing for 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew. And our final item, item number 4, is liquid calcium chloride for Public Works, and the recommendation is to accept the bid from Scottwood Industries, Incorporated, and establish contract pricing for 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have and recommend the approval as stated.
Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the recommendation of the Board of Bids and Contracts.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote, please.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransah.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Sorry, Lonnie, I forgot. If there's anything you want to talk on, just speak up, all right?
It's been a good meeting. Thank you.
All right. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Holt, Acting County Manager. You have consent agenda items I through M. Recommend approval.
Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransah.
Aye. Next, we move to legislative issues, which I don't believe we have anything, Mr. Manager. We do have next, then we'll go to other portion of this meeting. Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to just say thank you to one opportunity and then talk about another opportunity that might come up this evening. On September the 17th is Constitution Day. I was asked to come out and visit a 4th grade class. Actually, it was 2 4th grade classes at the Pleasant View Elementary School in Derby. And it was a tremendous experience. And, of course, preparation for that, I did read the Constitution a couple of times. And in fact, I ordered some of these little booklets. If you haven't seen these are fantastic. They're about $1 a piece. I was able to give these out. But in this little booklet that has the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the it actually has a number of quotes in here, which I really love, and I really felt inspired. I'd like to just share one of them. It says, educating the people, the primary object should be the education of our youth in the science of government. In a republic, what species of knowledge can be equally important? And what duty more pressing than communicating it to those who are to be the future guardians of the liberties of this country? That was by George Washington. I just felt very, very inspired by the quotes, and I really enjoyed teaching this 4th grade class. It was about 50 kids altogether, students of Miss Mercer's class at the Pleasant View Elementary School. And a tremendous opportunity. I look forward to doing that again in the future, I hope. Second thing I'd like to just point out, there was an article in today's paper regarding the, came out in the Wichita Eagle paper. It says, Analyst presents a sobering view of Wichita economy and community. And I found this to be a very interesting article, and there's a gentleman that is doing some analysis that's going to present some of this information that's talked about in this article. And if I understand correctly from the article today, there's going to be an opportunity tonight at 5 p.m. at the Exploration Place at 300 North McLean Boulevard, and it's free. So I plan on attending that. And one of the things they say that is one of the solutions to the challenges that we're having is for community leaders to work together. So I plan on attending that to hopefully learn more about his perspective and see what I can do. And I've encouraged the public to come out and be with me as well. So I just wanted to mention that and make sure it's an opportunity that people don't miss. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this weekend, Saturday, I believe the city and county leadership will be getting together to participate in the Wagon Masters Chili Cook-Off Saturday. And so if you're a fan of good food and good times, it's going to be occurring down and along Douglas Street in the Old Town area Saturday. So I think that's an important thing to bring forward. And Mr. Chairman, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that September 23rd today is an important day in American history for several reasons. On September 23rd, 1642, an important scholastic event occurred where the first Bachelor of Arts degrees were awarded in America, and that occurred at Harvard College on September 23rd, 1779. And during the American Revolutionary War, Captain John Paul Jones, in command of the aging Bonham Richard, got in a fight off the coast of England with the Serapis, a British frigate, and it wasn't going too well for the Americans, but John Paul Jones was asked if he would surrender his ship that was in trouble, and he replied, "I have not yet begun to fight," which became a rallying cry, and Jones and the Americans ultimately ended up prevailing, although the Bonham Richard sank and they had to take over the British ship. But those stirring words were important in those days. A year later, on September 23rd, we treat illegal combatants very differently back in the Revolutionary War period than we do today. A British major by the name of Jean André was a British spy, was captured, and he was involved with the conspiracy with Benedict Arnold to surrender West Point to the British. And ultimately, as an illegal combatant, he was tried, and in the same treatment that Nathan Hale, the American patriot, had, he was hung. On September 23rd, in 1845, in a much lighter note, the Knickerbocker Baseball Club of New York, first baseball team, was organized in this country. So September 23rd is an important day in American history. And I wanted to also add just a brief comment, because I've had some folks, I was surprised to see that it was controversial when we said that all lives matter. And today being an important day in American history with Pope Francis and President Obama meeting at the White House, I think the idea that all lives matter should be straightforward. I mean, as an American, I think all American lives matter. As a Kansan, I think all Kansas lives matter. As a Sedgwick County elected official, I think all lives matter here in Sedgwick County. And being a county official and leadership, we've got published 2,663 county employees, and all their lives matter. And all our public safety personnel, whether they're in the fire, emergency communications, EMS, whether they're commissioned or non-commissioned in the sheriff's office, these lives all matter. And I think it's important to emphasize that on this day, in September 23rd, when we look at the very important historic events that have occurred this day through American history. Mr. Chairman, thank you for that time. I think we have a need for an executive session.
That is next for Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session for 1 hour and 15 minutes to consider personnel matters of non-elected personnel, and that the Board of County Commissioners return to this room from executive session no sooner than 11:05 a.m.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner PETERJOHN.
Aye.
Chairman Ransall.
Aye. We'll now move to executive session. We're now back from executive session and no binding action was taken. Mr. Manager, is there anything else to come before the commission?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Because before we